If you ever miss a session of our tips and tricks, you can find the recordings on our Planet Technologies YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/Planet Technologies. A little about myself. I'm your host, Tanya Kaiser. I have more than 15 years experience with project management across multiple industries, including technology, legal, nonprofit, and construction. I'm also a longtime Microsoft geek and a big SharePoint nerd. One of the things I enjoy is helping others learn new skills, whether it be with applications they're familiar with, like Office, or something completely new to them, like SharePoint or Skype for Business. If you ever have any questions after a session, please feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn, or just send me an email. A little about Planet. Planet has been providing expert support in the Microsoft world for over 18 years. We offer full services for the entire Microsoft Cloud and Productivity Suite, including advisory, deployment, and training services, mobile application development and solutions, and strategic business consulting, including technology, compliance, and security guidance. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off today. And this week, we're going to talk about Skype for Business and some of the advanced features you can use during your Skype for Business meetings. So Skype for Business has a lot of built-in tools for online meetings. Most people just go ahead and invite people to a Skype meeting using the automatic inclusion with Outlook that comes with it, and they'll just have chat on the meetings or video. Sometimes it's just the voice and you're only using your computer to dial in. But it really does have a lot of components that are within their settings menu. You can switch your headset or headphones. You can announce when people join. You can make somebody a presenter. You can, of course, kick people out of a meeting or, mute them at will. A lot of those settings that are built into Skype by default. And then you can even add additional content to your Skype meetings, including recording the meeting itself for storage later, adding in a whiteboard and polls and Q&A. So a lot of built-in features that people don't realize are there. And the reason that you want to use these is that you can make your meetings a lot more efficient by tackling items on a same call. So if you start your typical meeting and it's a planning meeting, you don't have to schedule a second meeting where you can get a conference room and a whiteboard. You can use the built-in whiteboard and tackle that brainstorming and planning within that same call. And the other great thing about it is you can easily switch your devices. So if you start a meeting and you're having headset trouble, again, you don't have to tell people, hold on a minute, maybe we need to reschedule. You can switch that device on the fly directly within the call. So you take advantage of the time that you already have booked. Now, a couple of things that you do need to be aware of. So attendees can always dial in on a phone line for audio if they don't have a headset or headphone. I think this is something that prevents a lot of people from really using Skype. They know some users don't have a headphone or a headset, so they feel like if they send out a Skype meeting, somebody's not going to attend or they're going to decline it. Remind them within that meeting invitation that there is a phone number they can use. So they may not be able to see the video content, but they can always dial in and listen in. I think that sometimes prevents people, and again, it's just one of those things to remember. You do have a phone number you can dial in on. The other thing about recording specifically, depending on the laws in your area, you may need to notify your attendees that you're going to record a meeting. Even if it's something within your organization, it's just something to be aware of. And you can always check in with your IT people, sometimes HR, to see what those things are if you need to be aware of that. So this is the typical Skype panel that you see when you're actually in a meeting. And the areas that we're going to be looking at today are those highlighted by the red box. So of course, starting on the left, you can invite more people. If they weren't part of your meeting, but you know they're available, you can go ahead and within the meeting itself, go ahead and invite them. The participant actions is where you're going to be able to control what they can do. You can mute everybody, you can make them presenters, that sort of thing. And then moving over to the middle of the screen at the bottom, we have that monitor icon. And this is where a lot of that additional content features is located. And we're going to take a closer look at that in just a bit. But that's where you're going to be able to manage your content, add a poll, add a whiteboard, add a Q&A session. The little phone icon is actually where you're going to manage your device, and I'll show you that shortly. And then that ellipsis menu, as we know within Office 365 and SharePoint, an ellipsis means there's another menu there. And that Skype meeting options is where you're going to control your defaults for your meeting setting. Maybe you want to have a ding anytime somebody joins. Maybe you want to, control where the recordings are. You're going to do that from that menu there. So we're going to take a closer look right now, and I'm going to actually open up a Skype meeting just so you can see what those menus look like. So on my calendar, I set up a demo meeting here, and I'm going to act as if I'm Megan opening my meeting. I'm just going to click into that. And I'm going to say go ahead and join my Skype meeting. Now the other way that you can join a meeting is within the Skype panel itself. So I could do this from my Outlook here, or I can go into my Skype panel and open that up and I see my meeting there. So again, one of those other features, if you weren't aware that you had that functionality within your Skype menu, it's tied to Outlook, so it's going to pull in that information. So I'm going to go ahead and go click into my meeting and pull up that meeting panel, and we're going to explore a couple of the menus here. So I'll just give this a minute to come up. and it's going to kick everybody out. Now, one thing that you may come across from time to time in Skype is you join a meeting and you see uninvited guests, and that's usually a holdover from a prior meeting. So if you choose that end meeting option, that's one way that you can ensure that the meeting is closed and there's not going to be a holdover on your next meeting, especially when you have back-to-back meetings. So we're here in our Skype panel, and we talked about setting some default options. Again, this is done from the settings gear, and if we go to tools, we have options here, and we can see our full options menu. We notice that we have audio device, so I can check my defaults. I also have a video device and file saving. And then I want to change where my files are located. This is where I'm going to change that. The same thing for recording. I can go ahead and change that default file recording. And also for Skype meetings. When I join a meeting, maybe I don't want to click on the participant list every time. I would just say show the participant list and show I am. Again, just a little tweak that you can make in your settings menu so that when you join a Skype meeting, you're ready to go right from the start. And we can click OK, and then those are going to be saved for the next time. Now you may have noticed when I click that settings menu, I did go to options and I got the full options menu, but if I just wanted to make a few changes, I can just come in directly to audio device settings and it opens up the same menu there. So the same thing with video recordings and dial-in conference settings. It's taking me to the same menu, but again, it's giving me direct access to them. So the other thing that we mentioned is setting our defaults within Outlook itself. So anytime we come in and schedule a meeting, we always have that option to make it a Skype meeting. And it does include that phone number. One thing that I sometimes add to a meeting is letting people know you can dial in on audio. So I may just type in, please join via computer so you can view the screen. And then add in a note just to remind them you can also dial in from a phone for audio if needed. And that just gives them a little reminder. Sometimes people will see that join Skype meeting and they kind of skim over this phone number here. So if you wanted to highlight that information, you can just tell them, hey, come in and dial the phone number. Now, depending on if you're using a conference ID and they have to prompt that, you may want to list that as well. So again, a really, really easy way to put in a reminder there for people that, you do have the option to come in and dial in for audio if needed. So I'm not really adding people into this meeting, but I'll go ahead and say we're going to invite Adele again, and then I can send that. And again, when they get prompted for this, they're going to have that reminder directly from Outlook, and they'll have the option to join online. So it's really just a great thing, and you can see it shows up as a Skype meeting. If you book these as Skype meetings, you're cutting down on that travel time. So when we have back-to-back meetings, it's a lot easier for people to get to a meeting on time if they don't have to leave their desk or if they don't have to make it to a certain location. And with the Skype for Business mobile apps, it means that they can even dial in from a mobile device like an Android or iPhone or an iPad from wherever they're located, even while traveling. So just some defaults there that you want to make sure you set up before that. And then post-meeting, you go and look for those files. Where you would access those from your Skype menu here is you can see that there's tools and recording manager. So that would pull up if you had any recordings as well. And then again, audio, video options as well. And if you'll see file, you have view received files. So again, directly within the Skype panel, you have a very big menu of items there. So again, we showed you a couple of things today with Skype for Business, specifically for meetings, all of the different options that you have with the content built in, and then some additional options that you have to control within your settings menu. Now, one of the things that happens with all Office 365 components like Skype for Business is that there are ongoing changes, and I may have shown you some things today that you weren't aware of were possible within Skype for Business. So how do you communicate these changes down to your employees and your users so they can be more efficient and effective when using these products? Planet Technologies offers a subscription-based help desk as a service called Evolve 365, and its sole purpose is to increase end user adoption and help evolve your organization to be more productive. We have more than 28,000 on-demand self-help videos. These can be watched at a user's own pace, and they can come in and search for specific content that they need help with. We also have guided training like getting started with Skype for Business. Every subscription comes with a dedicated Office 365 trusted advisor like myself, And we also have additional add-ons like live support and vision and planning services if they're needed. We do have a free trial site available where you can go and check out some of our sample content. This has a small sampling of our 28,000 videos, about 200 different videos, so you can get a look and feel of how the content is paced. You can register for that free trial at freetrial.o365support.com. You can also view our main website at o365support.com to see some of the sample videos and to learn more about Evolve 365. If you have any questions or would like to request your own demo, you can reach us at info@o365support.com. Now, coming up in our Tips and Tricks December series, next week we're going to be talking about SharePoint libraries and best practices, including whether you should use folders or custom columns. And the last week of the month, we're going to talk about cleaning up your inbox and trying to get to that zen of inbox zero. Again, if you ever miss a session, you can find our recordings on our Planet Technologies YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/Planet Technologies. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and I hope to see you online next week.